Well, hello everyone. This is Tom Wilson from Sage. I am the product sales specialist for the Inventory Advisor solution, so it's my privilege to speak with you today. Okay, today we're going to talk about how Inventory Advisor can help drive more profit from your inventory. And as you know, inventory is a constant balance, having enough to ensure customer service, but not so much that you have excess. Striking the right balance is a daunting and time-consuming task. So today, I would like to introduce Sage Inventory Advisor, a cloud-based inventory and optimization solution that will help drive more profit out of your inventory. So Inventory Advisor is an example of a connected service. And one of the things Sage is trying to do is to enhance the investment our customers have made in our ERP platforms by offering solutions that continue to enhance that investment. And more, our customers are asking that this extension is deployed in a cloud or internet-enabled environment so that you can access it 24/7 from any device, any browser. But Inventory Advisor is a planning tool. It's an inventory planning tool designed to tap into the rich transactional data that's in Sage ERP, harness it, but pull it into an engine that's based on industry best practices and analytics for recommending inventory stocking and replenishment levels. So for any item at any location, you can have one or many stocking locations, but for any item, Inventory Advisor will show you what your current inventory is. It'll then recommend what your inventory should be, given the demand for the item, given lead time from your suppliers, compared to what's already in stock. And in doing so, it'll be able to identify any items you have too much of, what impact that's having on your working capital. It'll identify any items you have you're out of or about to run out of, what impact that could have on customer service or sales. And if you are spending a lot of time trying to figure out what your inventory should be, this will automate that process. In fact, if you look at your current Sage ERP system, it has an inventory control module, and it does a terrific job keeping track of what your current inventory is, what is in stock, what is on order. It keeps track of thousands of transactions, hundreds of items. It keeps track of pricing, costing, vendors, suppliers, and everything in between. And you need a system to keep track of that much detail about your inventory. But that system does not answer the question, is that what should be in stock? Given the demand for the items, given lead time from your suppliers, when should you place orders in advance of lead time so that they arrive on time? And most of our customers have to make those decisions outside of Sage ERP, usually in some kind of a manual report or process, more often than not a spreadsheet. And it can result in a lot of inventory challenges. 42% of our customers have said they struggle with stocking out of inventory, running out of items that could impact customer service or sales. If you're a customer and you go into a store or warehouse and you don't have what you need, you're probably going to go buy it or find it from someplace else. 37% of our customers say they tend to overbuy, overstock, and end up with excess inventory and money tied up in working capital. And 21% have said they just spend way too much time trying to figure out what the inventory should be. And that's what Inventory Advisor brings to the table. It does not replace anything in Sage ERP. In fact, Inventory Advisor needs data from ERP to feed its planning engine. But what Inventory Advisor brings to the table is inside the circle. And it starts first and foremost with a forecasting engine. It's pretty hard to determine what your inventory should be unless you know the demand of that item moving forward. So it has a very robust forecast engine. And I'll show you that when I pull up the software. It has an ordering and scheduling engine. So for every item, Inventory Advisor is going to recommend a minimum stocking level, a maximum stocking level. It'll calculate an order point, and given the demand for the item, given lead time from your supplier, compared to what's already in stock, already on order, it'll recommend when in advance you need to place orders on its supplier. And if you are starting to run out of an item or have too much of an item, it will alert you, especially for those items that are critical to your business. So the way it works is Inventory Advisor is a software application. It's deployed, however, as a cloud-delivered service. So Sage will set up your instance of Inventory Advisor on a Sage server. Then we'll set up a connector through the internet to your Sage ERP platform. That connection is highly secure. The data is encrypted. There's keys on both ends. Your instance of Inventory Advisor is unique to you. But on a daily basis, we'll set up an automatic job that connects your instance of Inventory Advisor to your Sage ERP to upload transactional data. So your sales history, any orders you have in place with your suppliers, orders from your customers, on-hand balances. If you do any kitting or manufacturing, it'll upload the bill of material structure. So that transactional data will be uploaded every day into your instance of Inventory Advisor, and then Inventory Advisor will disconnect from your Sage ERP system. All of that data will go into your instance of Inventory Advisor, where we'll go through a series of analytics and calculations. Then anyone that you want to log into Inventory Advisor can. Again, it's a browser, so it's a cloud delivered service rather, so all you need to do is access it with a browser. Now you're not using an ERP user ID. These are just people that you want to log in to the cloud delivered application. And what you'll be presented with then is a series of planning recommendations, starting with a dashboard, which is a high level summary, a summary of all the inventory at any given stocking location, showing you where you have problems and where you need to pay attention. So what Inventory Advisor is designed to do then is to answer those two questions in those two green boxes. On the left, are there any items at any location that have problems or issues and need your attention? Hey, heads up, here are some items at this location that you have way too much of, and here's what it's costing you in excess inventory. Or, hey, here's some items you're out of or about to run out of, and given the lead time, you're probably going to run out before you can replenish. So it's going to bring to your attention problems. That way you can drill into information, get the information you need so that you can resolve those problems. And on the right, it's going to recommend when in advance you need to place orders. And as you do a better job on the right, you'll start to see less problems on the left. But to do that, it does bring several capabilities to the table above and beyond anything in Sage ERP. Again, on the bottom right, a very robust forecast. But on the left, this is a page out of an industry best practice for managing inventory. And what that is not all items contribute the same to your business. So you want to pay special attention to those items that contribute the most, turn the fastest, and you want to be alerted if something's happening to those. But what most of our customers have told us when they turn this tool on is of their existing inventory, typically 2 to 10% of existing inventory is in some kind of a stocked out status. Either you're out of an item or about to run out of an item that could impact customer service or sales. So if you can eliminate those stockouts, what would that mean to your customer service, and could it grow your sales? And our customers are telling us absolutely yes. Most of our customers are telling us between 10 to 15% of their existing inventory is in some kind of a surplus status. You have more inventory than you need and money tied up in working capital. So by getting rid of that excess inventory, you can free up that working capital to do other things. And roughly half of a planner's time is not necessarily spent making planning decisions, but spent pulling together all the information you need to make planning decisions. So collecting data, extracting data, maintaining and supporting spreadsheets. So Inventory Advisor will never replace the knowledge or the expertise that you have in your business, but it will replace all of those manual tools, manual tasks, so that you can spend your valuable time focused where you need to spend it most, where you have problems, where you have issues, and placing optimal orders. And if you can do that, again, driving stockouts will help improve customer service and sales. Eliminating excess inventory will free up that working capital. And if I can focus my time where it does the most good, paying attention to problems, I will use my time in a much better manner. So I am now going to pull up a live instance of Inventory Advisor. And when you first log into Inventory Advisor, you do see what is called a dashboard. And a dashboard is a high-level summary. It's a summary of all the inventory that you're planning at this stocking location. And if you follow my cursor, we're looking at a single location. You can have one or many, but for this stocking location, which was uploaded from Sage ERP, Inventory Advisor is going to show you that first green box. Where do you have problems? And it's laid out in several panels. The first is called stock holding, and it shows that right now in Los Angeles, you are carrying $10.4 million of inventory at your cost, but the planning tool is recommending you should be carrying 6.2. That would be the optimal inventory, given the demand for the items, given lead time from your suppliers. I can see how my inventory has been trending over time. Each of these bars represents a period of time. There are 12, and you can see, and they can be displayed in days, weeks, or months. So in this case, I'm looking at weeks. 12 weeks ago in yellow, the top of the yellow bar is your actual inventory, the bottom is your shaded. I can see my actual inventory versus recommended, in this case over the weeks, with red simply being the last time data was loaded from Sage, which typically was yesterday, at which time you were carrying 10.4 against a recommendation of 6.2. So with just a quick glance, I can see I'm carrying quite a bit more inventory than the planning tool is recommending. In fact, if I slide over to the next panel, you have some excess stock at this location. In fact, there are 2,196 items that you have more inventory than you need. And that excess inventory is costing your business $3.4 million. Now I can look at all 2,196 items, but on the dashboard, we're trying to bring your attention to the top 5. These are the 5 items that are costing you the most in excess inventory. These 5 items alone are costing you $265,000 in excess inventory. Almost 10% for your excess problem is not 2,000 items, it's these 5. So if you do nothing else on a daily, weekly basis, you might want to really keep your eye on these top 5 lists. But that's where you have too much inventory right now. Hey, I want to give you a heads up. Here are some orders in Sage, either purchase orders or work orders, but Inventory Advisor has identified 413 items on order and is predicting that when those orders arrive, they're going to generate another 1.6 million in excess inventory. Again, here are the top 5. These are orders you might want to review because they are candidates to maybe delay or cancel those orders. So the first 2 panels are giving you some visibility to where you have too much inventory. Now, right below that is the opposite side of the coin. Are there any items you don't have enough of? And right now, there's some items at this location that you're completely out of. There are none in stock. In fact, there are 924 items with no inventory, but there's demand on those items. So until you replenish those items, you're at risk of not being able to fulfill that demand, and it could result in as much as $760,000 in lost sales. Again, here are the top 5. These 5 items alone are costing you $201,000 of potential lost sales. A fourth of that problem is not 900 items, it's these 5. So if you do nothing else on a daily, weekly basis, you might want to really keep your eye on these top 5 lists. But that's where you have no inventory right now. I want to give you another heads up. Here's some items you're about to run out of. Heads up, you have some inventory, but you're probably going to run out before you can replenish. So day in the life of a planner, I can see where I have too much inventory, where I don't have enough. I can drill into detail. But if you notice, each item has next to it 2 colored letters, a colored box with 2 letters. And that's that item classification we talked about. And this is an industry best practice. So by loading data from Sage, along with some rules you set up, Inventory Advisor will rank every item based on its value to your business as an A, B, or a C item, which are your rows, and it'll rank the same item based on its inventory turns as high, medium, or low. Every item is going to fall into one of those 9 boxes, which is the intersection of an A, B, or C row and a high, medium, or low column. So the boxes in the upper right, the green ones, those are your bread and butter items. Those are the items that turn the fastest, generate the most value. You don't ever want to run out of those items, so you probably want to set more aggressive replenishment policies, and you certainly want to be alerted if something happens to those items. So for example, on my stocked out list, one of the very first items is this item right here, ST8128. It's an A item, it's high turning, I'm currently out of it, and until I replenish, I could be at risk of $62,000 in lost sales. So by clicking on the item, it's going to drill me into the detail for just this item. Now, this is the detail for this item. So what Inventory Advisor is going to do is it's going to show you what your current inventory is. And right now, according to Sage ERP, this item has none in stock, 133 on back order, which brings you to a negative 133. So the bad news is you're stocked out with back orders, and this is an important item to your business. So if this problem was brought to my attention, the first question I would ask is, well, do I have any on order? And the answer is yes, you do. You have 1,080 on order as we speak. And when they arrive, less your back orders, your inventory position will be 947. So my second question then would be, great, when are those expected to come in? Well, I don't have to go back to Sage. I don't have to look it up. All I have to do is come down and hit my Purchase Orders tab. And it again shows me more data from Sage 100. According to Sage 100, you have 4 purchase orders in the system, and here's when they're expected to arrive. If they're coming in a timely manner, great. If not, I might want to see if I can expedite. But if that doesn't work, it might be nice to know if I have this item at another location. So by hitting the Locations tab, I can see that this item is also stored at 3 other locations. And I can quickly see what the status of those items are. And hey, I have some surplus coming into Chicago I might want to get some relief from Chicago. But I have visibility to information. The problem was brought to my attention, I have visibility, and I can make decisions. So the next thing that Inventory Advisor is going to do, though, is recommend what your inventory should be. Well, we'll automatically load the sales history. Inventory Advisor is going to compare that sales history to 15 different forecasting methods, test each one, and pick the best forecasting method for this item. And then it's going to generate a forecast for the next 12 months, which is represented in yellow. Inventory Advisor is also going to recommend a minimum stocking level. And it's going to look at things like, what is this item's contribution to your business? Well, an A item that's high turning, you probably want to set a more aggressive target. You want to look and see how that supplier is performing. And based on all of that, Inventory Advisor is going to then recommend, driven off the safety stock, driven off the forecast, it's going to pull up into my panel up here, and in both days and units, it's going to recommend how many units do you need to cover 90 days of lead time, how many units do you need to cover the 122 days of safety stock. So for every item, Inventory Advisor will generate a recommended minimum stocking level, a reorder point, and a maximum stocking level. And Inventory Advisor does that every day for every item, and then it's going to compare it to what your current inventory is. Well, remember, even with 1,080 on order, that brings me to 947. That puts me below my reorder point. The Inventory Advisor is recommending that you place an order to get you back up to the max. And right now, you should place an additional order for 295. First problem, you need to get as many of the orders in place as you possibly can because you're currently stocked out. But in addition to that, you need to place an additional order so you don't continue to run out. An Inventory Advisor will show you how that looks over the next 12 months. And it's going to project the demand. You can see that over here on the right. I can see the bottom part of my demand, the min, the top part, the max. And I can see how Inventory Advisor is going to recommend when I need to place orders to keep me within that min and max. And here's when I can expect to place orders. And Inventory Advisor does that level of analysis for every item at every location. Now, does that mean you have to go look up every item to see if you need to place an order? Absolutely not. We produce what's called an order schedule. And with one click, I can see a schedule for every item I need to order. Now, here's an example of what you need to order from a single supplier for a single location. Inventory Advisor is recommending you place 4 items on order. So for each one of those 4 items, I can see the forecast. I can see in both days and units my lead time, my safety stock, what's on hand, what's on order. I can see the item's contribution. This particular item, Inventory Advisor is recommending you order 2,600 items at $64 each. That'll add up to $171,000, and with a lead time of 90 days, you can expect this to arrive in October. And if I need more information, I can always drill into the detail. But I can review each of the items that Inventory Advisor is recommending I order, drilling into detail if I need it, making adjustments if I want to. But when you're ready to actually place this order, Inventory Advisor, I don't have to go type it into the PO system. All I have to do is hit the download button. And this order, after your review, will be imported into the purchase order module where you can release it as a PO. Any rules, procedures, workflows, approval processes you have in PO will still apply. But you're making your decisions on what to stock, what to order, driven off the analytics of Inventory Advisor, together with your knowledge and expertise, and you're sending those as orders back to the purchase order module to execute. And what you'll start to see as you use a tool like this is you'll start to see your inventory trend towards the model. As you manage your excess stock, catch excess before it happens, you'll start to see your excess reduce. As you catch stockouts before they happen and place optimal orders, you'll start to see your stockouts reduce. And again, what most of our customers have found is by using a tool like this, they will be able to reduce their stockouts by anywhere from 2 to 10%. And that will improve customer service and improve sales. They have been able to identify and remove 10 to 15% of their inventory as excess. And if you can free up that working capital and use it for other things, again, the benefit is just off the charts. And if you can give planners, purchasing managers, executives better, more timely information so they can focus their attention where they need it the most, where they have problems. Again, the return on investment against a tool like this can be off the charts, but what you're doing is you are literally optimizing your inventory. You're getting that right balance. You're eliminating stockouts so that you won't have poor customer service. You are eliminating excess inventory so you free up that working capital. So I am going to stop there. I think we're getting close. We just have a couple of minutes left, but I certainly want to open this up for any questions.
I do have some questions that already came in, and if you do have any questions, be sure to type them within the question pane. So the first one I have is, do you need to be on the most current release of Sage to connect to Sage Inventory Advisor?
No. Inventory Advisor works with many past releases of Sage. So for Sage 300, it works with 5.4 and above. For X3, it works with 6.0 and above. So no, you do not need to be on the most current release.
We are new to Sage and have little sales history loaded. Can we still use the forecasting engine in Sage Inventory Advisor?
Oh yeah, great question. So yeah, so a lot of our customers, especially if they're new to ERP, they're installed, they're live on ERP, but maybe they didn't move all of their sales history into the new ERP. And the more sales history we have, which is what feeds the forecasting engine, the better, more robust forecast we can give you. So as long as you have your sales history, as long as you can export it to what we call a template, we can load it directly into Inventory Advisor. So if you didn't load all your sales history into ERP, we can still access it and pull it into SIA.
The last question I have here is, what impact will Sage Inventory Advisor have on my Sage system performance?
Oh, sure, another good question. So the only thing that Inventory Advisor needs is it needs some input data from Sage ERP. And that's that one slide I showed where Inventory Advisor connects to Sage and then uploads transactional data. That takes about 10 minutes a day. And so the only impact the Inventory Advisor has on Sage is that 10 minutes. And the impact is about like running a report, so extremely negligible. Then Inventory Advisor disconnects from Sage, and then all of the analytics, all of the processing is done on Inventory Advisor on the Sage server. So no impact at all on your Sage server.
So with that being all of the questions that we've had come in, I would just like to thank you, Tom, for presenting today.
Oh, my pleasure. And if anything comes up, any questions come up after this, just shoot me a note. I'll be glad to follow up.